Hello everybody and welcome back to another not applicable Formula 1 video. I hope that you are well. I hope you're enjoying the 2021 Formula 1 season because my goodness me, it's been absolutely incredible up to this point and there is just 6 races left to go. We are finally getting towards the crunch end of the season and it's the question on the tip of every Formula 1 fan's tongues. Who is going to win the 2021 World Drivers' Championship? Will it be Lewis? Will it be Max? Will it be Lewis? Will it be Max? All of us, I think, have flip-flopped backwards and forwards between Max and Lewis over the course of the season. And so has the Drivers' Championship table because Max Verstappen heads into the last 6 races with just a 6-point lead. Anything could happen. It is ridiculously all to play for. Like, those two have just swapped places continually throughout the entire season, and it really could go either way. I couldn't make my mind up. Like, I was sitting down thinking about this video, and I was like, who on earth am I going to pick as this Drivers' Championship winner? Because it could be anybody. So I decided instead of putting myself under pressure, I'd get in contact with some of my favourite Formula 1 creators, ask them who is going to win the title, Hamilton or Verstappen, see what they thought, and then put together my final idea at the end of this video. Up first is the man from behind the drive. It is Andy.
Hey Not Applicable fans, it's Andy from Behind the Drive here, and for me it's Lewis Hamilton who sneaks it as my title favourite with 6 races to go. I don't want to predict whether Mercedes or Red Bull will be quicker at each circuit, as that has varied so much over the course of the season, but I think the Mercedes car has been the better of the two in the last few Grand Prix, even with the Honda engine upgrade. On top of this, Lewis Hamilton is the most experienced driver on the grid in terms of these final title run-ins, and he more often than not comes out on top. But this really isn't an easy call to make. I actually drafted 2 scripts for this segment, with arguments for either driver to win this season, and it's just so close between the 2 drivers in this championship fight. In fact, I've even spent the majority of this season thinking Verstappen is the favourite. There is of course a doubt over the Mercedes power unit, and whether just replacing the combustion engine for Hamilton is enough to ensure he can make it to the end of the season without facing more penalties. And given the Red Bull team opted for a more conservative full power unit change for Verstappen, they could well have better reliability in the closing stages. And it could well be that the title fight ends up being decided by reliability. But if you put both of these challengers against each other and assume the power units survive, I think Lewis Hamilton finds a way to win title number 8.
Ooh, so it is 1-0 Lewis Hamilton. And, Andy there, I think I agree with him. Hamilton clearly has the experience, but it is very dependent on that power unit. Already we're seeing, he said Hamilton straight away and then was like, but it's a little bit dependent on that power unit. And, Red Bull has been the better car over the season. So it could go either way, but 1-0 Hamilton. Second up is everybody's favourite esports commentator, George Morgan.
So I've been asked by Not Applicable very kindly as to who I think is going to be World Drivers' Champion for the F1 season of 2021. And I have to say, if you asked me at the start of the season, I would have said Red Bull. I think looking at the car, certainly what they were saying in terms that they were developing everything around this 2021 spec in order to attack this championship this season. I firmly believe that Max Verstappen was the man to do that. And at the start of the season, it firmly looked like that was the case. But all of a sudden, we've stepped into a little bit of a shift. Even Mercedes, I think, are quite surprised as to how it's all been turned around. And Lewis Hamilton, for example, a very well-timed 10th-place grid penalty for an engine change in the Turkish Grand Prix. Obviously getting P1 in Q3 as well. Red Bull don't look so good round here. The car is not looking what it was. Maybe the development has been put on hold for a time being. Maybe they're looking to next year's car this time. God knows. I do not know. But looking at it on paper right now, Lewis Hamilton, for me, he's 8 times world champion. He is the one now who's going to win it. He will be 8 times. I truly believe that. And I think that Mercedes have really managed this championship well. It's not just about those one race appearances. It's about the whole season. And I think Mercedes have done a truly, this will be one of their most impressive championship wins, or Lewis Hamilton's best championship win, in my opinion, personally, because they look like the underdog this year, but he's turned it around in excellent fashion. So for me, it's Lewis Hamilton.
Very, very interesting from George there. I love the fact that he's changed his mind from Red Bull to Mercedes. I think everybody was on the Red Bull train, sort of 5-6 races into this season, Mercedes looked like the better team, and then Red Bull have just been dominant throughout this middle period, and now it looks like Mercedes are maybe finding a little bit of form. But very interesting from the two guys we've heard from so far. It is 2-0 Lewis Hamilton. Everybody so far has edged towards Lewis winning this title, even though he is 6 points behind in the championship at this moment in time. Let's see if that trend continues when I asked F-Series and Veloce YouTuber Keira Megan.
Hiya, my name is Keira Megan, and who do I think is going to win the World Drivers' Championship this year? It has been close. It's been really, really close. And I think if you looked at the season in a whole, Max has arguably done a bit better than Lewis. I feel like Lewis has probably made mistakes he probably has not done in the past, and the Red Bull car has been extremely fast. We know that Mercedes did not carry on developing this year. However, the last couple of races, it's switched a little bit more, and I think Mercedes have got more of the momentum. So I can easily probably see Lewis maybe picking this up and winning this championship in the end. I think it'll be sad either way, depending on who it goes for the other person, because they've both deserved it so much this year. But I just feel like if that Mercedes is going to carry on how it has done the last couple of races, we could see Lewis winning his 8th. So I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton for the World Drivers' Champion 2021.
Another vote for Lewis Hamilton. It is getting very one-sided, this video now. 3-0 to Lewis Hamilton from the creators that we've heard from so far. And again, it seems, as Keira said, Mercedes have hit this little bit of form. They've hit a bit of a purple patch. Hamilton has looked really, really good over the last 3 or 4 races. And again, his experience, he's been there, he's done it time in, time out. He's always at the front of the grid. He's always been at the front of the grid for the last 10 seasons. You could argue he's been one of the most consistent and most incredible drivers on the Formula One grid. It is 3-0 Lewis Hamilton. Will we see anybody vote for Verstappen? I asked Ray on his thoughts.
I feel it's going to be close, but Max will win the title. Both drivers seem to be even, though Lewis has that slight advantage in terms of experience. But that said, I feel the main deciding factor here won't be the drivers, but rather the cars. For most of the season, the better car has been the Red Bull. And yes, I know some may say that after Turkey, it seems otherwise. But that was just one race, and the last 2 have been wet, where factors we don't normally consider can come into play, skewing the picture. Plus, there's still the theory that Mercedes turned up the engines at the expense of reliability, which is plausible, but Red Bull could also be doing this soon, negating the advantage that Mercedes gets. I think the next 2 races in USA and Mexico will give us a clearer picture of how the cars compare, and these races could be pivotal in the battle for both championships.
Finally, somebody who believes in Max Verstappen winning this world title. Somebody who believes that Max Verstappen can go on to win his first World Drivers' Championship over Lewis Hamilton. And, well, actually, he's sort of leaned more towards the fact that he believes in Red Bull, and I totally agree with him. Red Bull, over the course of the season, has been the more dominant car. Max Verstappen has won more races than anybody else. He's won more laps than anybody else. He has been leading this championship so many times, and it's just slipped through his fingers by the smallest of margins whenever he has been behind Lewis Hamilton. And you know what? I think we've forgotten how good Max can be. He's had a few races now where it's been a little bit down, and it's been a little while since he won a race, but at the same time, he's been absolutely phenomenal this season, and I can completely agree with Ray. Red Bull has by far and away been the better car, and finally, somebody believes in Max Verstappen. Will Max Verstappen be able to fight back even more? When I asked Raz on Formula One his thoughts.
I think that it's going to be a close fight between Hamilton and Verstappen, but I think Hamilton is just going to edge it because of his experience, and he's going to get the 8th title. But it's going to be very close, and it's going to go to the wire. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of this project. Really appreciated, and I would like it if your viewers would subscribe to my channel. Cheers for watching. Bye.
4-1 to Lewis Hamilton. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit stunned. Everybody seems to be on this Lewis Hamilton hype. So I've listened to everybody. I've talked to so many more people about this as well over the past few weeks. And with 6 races left to go, I think my thoughts are Red Bull have had by far and away the best car. You know, Max Verstappen has won more races, led more laps. He has been probably the better form driver over the course of this season. But Hamilton is the better driver for me overall. I don't think, you know, it's difficult to argue that Hamilton sits amongst the absolute greatest that Formula One is ever likely to see, and possibly is in and amongst that sort of top 3 or 4. Like, that is a huge place for Lewis Hamilton to be, and getting that 8th World Championship might just tip him over the edge as the greatest of all time. So looking at the tracks, looking at the drivers, looking at the teams, I'm going to have to go with the majority here. I'm also going to hedge my bets and go for Lewis Hamilton. It feels like I shouldn't go for Lewis Hamilton. My heart is saying Max Verstappen. My head is saying Lewis Hamilton. I don't know if I've just been indoctrinated by Formula One and Mercedes and the fact they've been so dominant. As I said at the top of this video, Sebastian Vettel was the last man to win a world championship outside of Mercedes in a Red Bull. It just feels like an age ago that happened. And yes, Lewis Hamilton has had mistakes throughout the season. There's been different races here and there where I've been like, Lewis Hamilton might have lost, you know, his little bit of vigor, his little bit of tenacity that shows that he is world championship worthy. But every single time he's had a mistake, he's come back the next race and shown exactly why he is a 7-time world championship winner. And Red Bull, yes, probably are better. Do they deserve to win this title? Possibly. They've put in so much time and effort, and they've kept making this car better and better and better. You know, Honda brought that power upgrade in the middle of the season, but I'm just going to go with Lewis Hamilton. It is going to be so close. I'm going to flip-flop backwards and forwards between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen over the next 6 races. Like, I can definitely see that happen. There's going to be tears. There's going to be crashes between these two, and it is going to be absolutely phenomenal to watch. I cannot wait to see how these 6 races pan out and who is going to be the World Drivers' Champion in 2021. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everybody who took part in this video. All of their links will be in the description down below. Go and check them out. They are wonderful creators, and thank you again so much to you guys who did take part in this video. Like, I'm just humbled by it. I don't have the words for how much I appreciate you guys coming onto the channel. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.